Since 2003, this is the Sports Source, East Tennessee's #1 sports talk show.
Presented by Junk Be Gone, Phoenix Conversions.
With your host, John Pennington. The Sports Source starts now.
Good Saturday afternoon to you. It's tough when your catchphrase is good Sunday morning and you're not on Sunday morning. A good Saturday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. We are here a day early because WATE tomorrow. The ABC gets the one NFL game each year in the playoffs, and it's going to be the Titans game at 1 p.m. tomorrow. They're going to be airing a live pregame show from their sister station in Nashville, so that will be airing right here tomorrow. So that's why we're going ahead and doing our show today to catch you up on everything that's going on, the latest on the Pruitt situation, and our just gut feelings on the thing. We'll talk about UT basketball. We'll even have Ryan Callahan join us a little later to talk about recruiting and what the situation with Pruitt is doing to recruiting. Lots to cover over the next 90 minutes. Thanks for joining us. Let's get into it. First segment of our program, brought to you by Junk Be Gone. The holidays are over, and I am just now getting all of the boxes and papers and old stuff that's been replaced out of my house, making way for new stuff. That means it's time to call Junk Be Gone. I use them every year for spring cleaning. Might move it up to make it January or February cleaning this year. They do great work. Locally owned company, family owned company right here in Knoxville. JunkBegone.biz to learn more. All right. Let's welcome in the first wave of panelists for today's show. We have right here from The Athletic, David Oven. David, thank you. Right there, Jimmy Himes. You can hear him Monday through Friday on WNML, AM, and FM. Jimmy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Next to you, Charles Demetrius Cavaleris III, long-time sports writer, media member in the East Tennessee zone. Thanks for joining us, Chuck.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's run through the list just to catch those of you who aren't living on Twitter and reading message boards at all hours. Let's catch you up on what's going on with the Tennessee situation. Jeremy Pruitt is still your head football coach for the moment. Offensive line coach Will Friend departed for South Carolina and then did a U-turn and went to Auburn instead. So there is a slot to fill there. Whether or not that slot can be filled, pause, we'll get to that in a second. The D-line coach is still open from when they fired Jimmy Brumbaugh after week 4 this year. Other coaches are being rumored to look for the exit right now. And that gets back to the whole, what can they do with replacing Friend, Brumbaugh, these other guys, T. Martin, Brian Niedermeyer, they have contracts that are hanging out there. Niedermeyer's name's been dragged into the investigation talk, as you know. Some of these guys are wanting extensions. Their contracts are up. Can Jeremy Pruitt actually hire anyone right now? Can he actually give an extension to anyone right now? There's debate over whether or not there's something in writing that says you cannot. There is truth that he is interviewing people, but the people he's interviewing, they may be great coaches. But one is an assistant at Buffalo, not the Bills, the college. One is an assistant at North Dakota State. One is a guy on staff at UT who's a former player but at Georgia but has never coached. One is an ex-NFL offensive line coach who has baggage from the NFL and baggage from college. It's not the deepest pool of candidates. Again, leading to the question of what's he being allowed to do right now. May just be semantics as to whether or not he can or can't hire somebody. It doesn't look like he can hire anybody, whether that's in writing or not. That's probably the issue. But as we told you 3 weeks ago, I had a feeling you're going to have a much more robust exit for the transfer portal this year. You're seeing it continue week after week. Ty Chandler, as expected, announced he's going. You got Bryce Thompson going to the NFL, so the roster continues to thin out a bit. You did get a guy coming in. We'll talk about that a little later. Meanwhile, UT's internal investigation will drag into next week because there are more interviews scheduled. So now we're getting into mid-January with this thing. Anything else I'm leaving out that needs to be brought up? Anything I was wrong about that you disagree with?
There's a lot going on. Deep breaths.
I mean, please talk so I can breathe.
Yeah, it's like, we're sitting around here in June, twiddling our thumbs. We gotta find something to talk about. And now, we want to extend the show to 2-3 hours today.
Yes,
maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's all roster management, coaching hours, the investigation, Pruitt's future. All these things are all happening and all tied together. But the $1 million question is literally just, what's the timeline on this investigation? Because nothing can happen until you have some clarity there.
And the investigation, is this all because they simply want to save as much of the buyout as they can? They want to be able to either say, we're firing you with cause and take us to court because we're giving you any buyout, or they know that, well, at least we'll save some of the buyout by getting in this position, we'll negotiate it down, but we'll have this. To me, it would look like you can say, look, we're firing you, the investigation has turned up stuff, we'll tell you exactly what it is later, we're firing you. Apparently, you have to go in and say, no, we're firing you and these are the reasons right when you do it, if you're going to get the with cause thing. But to me, it looks like, outside looking in, the people you talk to, it's all riding on nixing the buyout. Jimmy, is that what this? We're all sitting here waiting for this investigation because it's all about the buyout.
I think that's a huge part of it. And here's the thing too, and to David's point about this investigation may be prolonged. I guess part of the other side of that is, do you think you have enough right now for cause to fire him, even though the investigation is not complete? So you can say, we've got enough here, and we're going to negotiate this buyout, or we're going to fire you with cause and try not to pay anything while the investigation's still going on. I guess that's still possible, but my goodness, who knows? And here's the thing about investigations I think we would all agree on. You may be headed down this road, and then there are other roads that keep cropping up, and you find, wait a minute, you unturned this stone, and then you find something else, and then something else. This thing could go on, the investigation could go on for much longer than anticipated, which makes me think there's a chance Tennessee would make a decision before it's complete.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but this week was the first time I started to hear rumors that were a little bit more serious in what they found. Not strong enough that I'm going. Again, the interesting thing is, and we were talking about this before the show, if you talk to 3 people, you'll get 3 different stories right now. But some of the stuff that I heard this week was more about, they were digging for this, but they found this, which is bigger and more damning for Jeremy Pruitt. That's what I heard this week. You may have heard it too. Who knows if that's true or not, but that picked up steam this week, at least the people I've talked to, that it may be what you're talking about, that we were going down this road and now we've uncovered a little bit more.
It's like another edition of the Tennessee soap opera, isn't it? I mean, how many times have we watched this? And just from somebody looking at it from the outside in, the longer it goes, the worse it seems to get. I think that's pretty safe to say, because once you start talking to people, is everybody being forthright about what happened? Is there something else that's uncovered that you got to pin down that's worse than the other things you had? Or are you not finding that much, but it sounds like there's like A, B, and C that are going to be pretty tough to say that didn't happen.
There were also rumors this week that Jeremy Pruitt, he's lawyered up. Well, my first thought is he's got the best agent in all of sports. So if he's lawyering up for a negotiation with UT, he doesn't need to lawyer up. He's got the best guy he could get. If he's lawyering up, and I don't know that he is, have you heard this report? Have you reported this?
Unclear at the moment,
okay.
I think.
If he has lawyered up, that would suggest that he's lawyering up for a game against the NCAA at some point. Because that would be the only reason I would see him lawyering up if that is the case. Because with UT, he's got Sexton that's going to be doing the negotiation, you would think.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think he necessarily needs to quote lawyer up, because I think Sexton's is good. Sexton's been around, and he represents an incredible amount of coaches, and so he's used to dealing with these situations. But I don't know. It just seems like UT has now become unintended turmoil.
Well,
instead of University of Tennessee.
Become unintended. Yeah,
Continues to be.
Continues to be. It's remarkable, and we're going to talk about that a little later. How every time you get it, you think you've got it fixed, it's not fixed. The fact that this is dragging on in such a way, you don't see this elsewhere, especially at this time of year. Where else do you see a school let its football coach twist in the wind after the typical hiring-firing season, portion of the season is gone, and right before signing period? I don't know. I'm sure it's happened somewhere, but I don't remember seeing it at a major program like this.
It doesn't seem to be the norm.
No, it's not the norm. And the other question is, and this is what we'll ask in the next segment, how in the world, I know there are going to be people angry. Why aren't you talking about basketball? Why are you talking about this? Because this week, my texts were all about this. I didn't get any text asking about Tennessee versus Texas A&M. It's all this. So we're covering this, but people are going to be upset. Why are you talking about it? We're talking about it because I don't see how you bring him back at this point. Maybe you do. Maybe we're all sitting. Maybe I'm eating this piece of paper in 2 weeks saying, well, he's the head coach. I don't see how you do it. We'll discuss that. Can you bring him back? Is he as doomed as he seems? Come on back on the Sports Source.